Hello and welcome to episode 17 of the Gluten-Free Psychiatry Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Daniel Williams. Today we're talking about an ancient healing practice done throughout different cultures, thousands of years old, called an ancient male-to-female healing technique. We're talking about female energy, not sexual and not gender specific either. It's masculine and feminine energy. So we're going to have to define that today, and we're going to see where I learned about it. How does a psychiatrist get off talking about something ancient like this, and what it might lead to in terms of implications for different sexual disorders, intimacy issues, and the like. So welcome to the show. So we're going to differentiate male, female, and masculine, feminine from what you typically hear about. We're going to zoom out from our society and look at what cultures have looked at and thought about male-female energy for thousands of years. So we're talking about masculine energy being a forceful, powerful, or dominant energy force. Whenever you get really pissed off and fed up with something, and you just go after it and you just fix something, and let's say you got to rescue your dog that's trying to get through the fence and get away from you, and there's a big dog coming. You just got to reach your hand in those briars and get your dog. I don't care what gender you are. Okay, that's a masculine energy by the ancient definition. Okay, we're talking about an ancient healing practice being combined with modern psychiatry, standards of care. None of this weird voodoo tantric stuff where you got providers doing sexually provocative things with people, getting paid for it. Borders on prostitution, and some of them are good, I'm sure, and respectful, but standard psychiatric practices with licenses and psychologists in a functional psychiatry team. So you have energy healers, you got functional psychiatry, and you got psychology working together. Not the little $100 an hour tantric therapist that you find online. That is not what we're talking about, and we're not talking about sex phone calls in the next episode either. But that is on sexual addictions and the use of a technique like this to enhance recovery from different sexual addictions, and whether your sexual desire is on ice and it's just not interested at all, or you're the extreme end of the other spectrum, the persistent genital arousal disorder, where your hormones are just firing off all the time and it's distracting, where you just can't stop your sexual drive. Either extreme can be helped by this technique. Let's go into it a little bit. So energy is not sexual, rather it's masculine and feminine. You can think of the feminine energy more as nurturing, and that the masculine tends to be a little, you might think, rougher and tougher of an energy that faces the threats and the challenges outside the family, where the feminine nurturing energy deals with nurturing the family unit itself. And both men and women do masculine and feminine behaviors at different points in different cultures along the way. If you never take care of yourself, then you would always be in a masculine mode and never feminine, and what would happen to you? So I've got a sentence for you, because this is what a lot of veterans do. This is why chronic pain leads to mental health disorders. I think you're not aging real well. And military service is all masculine energy. Whether you're a retired woman, you've been in masculine energy, not have time to do your nurturing and your foot baths and your weekends with the ladies, or whatever would look right for you. Okay, whether that's massage or sports fitness or rock wall climbing. If it's self-care and it's nurturing, it helps sustain you, it feeds your soul, that's feminine. That's good for you. It's nurturing. It's going to help perpetuate you and keep you going. So the toughest warrior needs a little feminine energy. And that's what the Native Americans noticed about American culture when we first got here. I learned about this technique and practiced it in the basic training class for One Light Healing Touch this year, early 2025. And I'm going to repeat that class in 26 in January. If you want to get in before the deadline here in a month or two, at the end of 2025, you could join me and do techniques like this with me under the direction and teaching of Penny and Ron Lavin. They are the founders of One Light Healing Touch. And what happened was, incidentally, I was being distracted by sexual energy, I thought, because I was distracted on this topic. And it turned out that I didn't say anything. I thought this was inappropriate. I thought maybe it was me, being distracted by all these ladies in the class. It wasn't that. I didn't want that. I totally respected them. I've done a lot of work myself. We can get to it later in the private community. But I thought it was kind of annoying. And it turns out 3 independent ladies I was working with in the class happened to agree that it was healthy to have a professional with standards of care as a psychiatrist, standard of care, not that weird tantric stuff out there, But to feel healthy male cleared and unselfish energy and strength, that powerful dominance, in a healthy, safe way with boundaries and professionalism. And actually, there were turnarounds, there were dreams overnight, emotional rearrangement, daddy issues resolved, disinterest in partners changed because they were based on other things. So you don't want to do energy healing without your partner around, involved with some of this. So same warning on my documentaries list if you go back and look at that early podcast. So we learned more than 30 techniques. This was only one of them. And stay tuned for future episodes, because in episode 18, we're going to talk about complementary and alternative medicine techniques for sex and love addiction and persistent genital arousal syndrome, as well as that hypoactive sexual desire. So who cares about all this? Who would this apply to, right? If you've been through trauma and have any kind of sexual intimacy problems, or your orgasms hurt, or they happen too often, or never, okay? If stuff doesn't work right, if we broke it and we're not following the user's manual anymore, people, if sexual energy or function or dysfunction has come through stress or trauma, then this applies to you. When we zoom out from our culture and put it in their language, the ancients have always said that your chi gets scattered in China. That's what they say. And acupuncture, still today, is now accepted at the VA. Acupuncture, they're opening up your energy channels. And with the motion code that I always teach about and I discuss on my healing page, my main landing page for healing, is how to jumpstart a veteran, let's say, or a major depressed person, suicidal person today. First of all, do the classes with me. Join my community and get some healing to complement the treatment that you're already getting. You can add something like this to psychotherapy, no problem, right? But I talk about emotion code where they just swipe a magnet down your back and release the electromagnetic body wave of that flashback that's come to the surface, and it's gone for good with one treatment. Yes. So who cares? Kind of all of us, because we all know an animal or a rescue or a person or a child, family member, or ourselves tend to minimize our impact of our own trauma. And this is all you have to do. If one appointment can help rearrange you, then why are we doing so many appointments and throwing out all these ancient techniques? So that's where my research has led me to. And these were 3 incidental healings, and one of them worked with me, and I put together a protocol that we'll discuss a little bit more in episode 18. So this has been episode 17, and it's the ancient practice of male to female healing. See how it might benefit you in the future.